Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Pajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Pajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Ashtotartata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Ashtotartata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. I'm not sure. Are we on 6 or 7? I'm pretty sure it's 6, but I'm not sure. You don't know? Oh, it is 7. Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this third day of September 2024 in San Diego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in chapter 11, the Universal Form, page 463, text number 7 at the bottom of the page. Ihaika stam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pasyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Go ahead, Chad. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Ladies. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pasyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyad drashtum ichasi. Iha, in this, ekastam, in one place, jagat, the universe, kritsnam, completely, pashya, see, adya, immediately, sa, with, chara, the moving, acharam, and not moving, mama, my, dehe, in this body, gudakesha, O Arjun, yat, that which, cha, also, anyat, other, drashtam, to see, ichasi, you wish. Translation. Krishna says to Arjuna, O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Purport. No one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientist cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Shri Parampara. Well, the most pertinent verse is Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakya, because this is talking about being gifted or blessed with the vision by Krishna to see what you couldn't see before. And this is really one of the themes of devotional service, and that is that in our ordinary senses, in our conditioned state, means without any self-realization, we can't really see what's going on. We can't understand. And one of the aspects of Krishna consciousness is that you're bestowed with transcendental vision. You're able to see better. Not necessarily, you can see 20/20 as opposed to 20/40, but that your vision changes because you're seeing the spirit behind it. Just like, as we say, Om Jnana Timrandasya, we're all born in this blind, as it were, in the blind well of material consciousness. And we see matter, we see things that, we can ordinarily see, but there's so much that we can't see. And the first lesson in Krishna consciousness in the second chapter is Krishna's encouraging Arjuna to see and to perceive and take into account the spirit within the body, not just the physical body. He was distraught at the prospect of killing or participating in the killing of his beloved guru, grandfather figure. He took the role of a grandfather, but very beloved. And he's a Mahajan after all. And his teacher, Dronacharya, and so many others who were related to him on, by blood ties or by marriage ties like that, on both sides of the army. It was a traumatic prospect for him to participate in their killing. So he wasn't seeing spiritually. He wasn't seeing that, what are we? We are a material body, a very complicated machine, and a subtle body covering an eternal spirit soul that never perishes. So if you actually see that way, you see, and what do we learn in the 7th chapter? We're not meant to see Krishna in the sunshine. He says, I am the sunshine. What is that? Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shasi suryayo. The sunshine and the moonshine. You see? So that means that we're meant to expand our vision. So when we see the sun, we are reminded of Krishna. When we see the moonshine, we're reminded of Krishna. And then by reminded means that you think of it. You think of his form, you think of his powers and so forth. And that goes for all the senses. Right? He starts out with on the taste of water. Nice pastime. Prabhupada's sitting in the storefront, And as you may know, it's just a few blocks from the Bowery. Now, I used to live in Manhattan. The Bowery meant in those days, all the derelicts, like what we call homeless today, sitting around on the stoop or on the pavement, drinking, and you don't want to be around, like that. So one day, one of those derelicts came into the storefront. It's like a barrier there. There's Houston Street, which separates, it goes east and west. It separates the Bowery from Manhattan, from the rest of Manhattan. So generally they stay on their side, But this derelict had become attracted somehow or other. He was, although he was a little unsteady, he came in the middle of Prabhupada's lecture, and he had some toilet paper that he wanted to give, And Prabhupada didn't stop him. He came in and he went into the side and he put it down and he said, this is a gift, and then he walked out. But just see, even though he's not in order, but he had the impulse to participate and to give something, and that's to his eternal, So he saw something different, that inspired him to change his heart, to make the effort to participate in that way. So there's a wonderful verse. Oh, this reminds me. In the Lord Brahma's prayers for creative energy in the third canto, I remember when I first read those back in '73, I was very, very moved by them. And he talks about, there's one verse that says, Ye tu tvadiya chada, this is one of the first verses I ever memorized. Ye tu tvadiya chadanam mutakosha gandham jigranti kana vivaraishu divatanitam. Bhaktya guhita chadanak padayachatesham na paiti nada vidiyamba bhatsva pungsam. those who smell the fragrance of your lotus feet by hearing the Vedic sounds describing them. You see? In other words, one sense can, the hearing can you can see through hearing, you can taste through hearing, because this is the spiritual power. Just like Krishna's, any one of his senses can perform the function of any other senses, you know. And in our spiritual body, we also have that. So once you hear that, one who and there's a verse before it that talks about how, you know, without hearing properly, you remain in the material consciousness. But on the other hand, yetu tvadiya chadanambudakosha gandham, those who smell the fragrance of your wonderful lotus feet, carried by the Vedic sounds, by the description of the Vedas. You see, you're smelling through hearing, you know, and they accept devotional service to you, and you never leave their hearts. You see. And then there's a really, I think it's the next verse or after that, and then he talks about seeing through hearing. Tvam bhakti yoga padibhava ritsaroja ases tu tekshata pato nananata pangsam yad dhyata hudagaya vabhavayanti tad vapu panayase sadanugrahaya. So sadanugrahaya means you show mercy to the saints in this way. So one who practices bhakti yoga to you, tvam bhakti yoga padibhava ritsaroja, if they do it sincerely, then you take your seat on the lotus of their hearts. Ritsaroja ase. This is your asana right here, you see. So, and then Shuta Ikshata Pato, they follow the path of seeing through hearing. Now that principle is pervertedly reflected in all the fiction, you know, that you can find in the bookstore, in the library, you know, the mundane fiction. I grew up, my mother was a reading teacher, and my father was, you know, he wasn't a professor, but he was intelligent. And so I remember reading so much science fiction when I was a kid, you know. And before I went to bed, you know, I would be lying in bed reading this story, you know. And of course I would dream of that, you know, and this is a supernatural world, you know, that was it. And I remember reading so many novels by Dickens. You know, he was a very famous author. Why are they known for that? Or, you know, or... I forget his name, who wrote Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain, you know, because they're very skilled with the language to paint a scene and describe it in such a way that you enter into it. You forget yourself and you experience it to one degree or another. Now, with all of the video and all of the, you know, everything, people don't read as many books. The kids hardly read anymore. But that's the idea. So we have that access through the transcendental descriptions of Krishna. And the Sanskrit language is so powerful when you really hear it and you understand the meaning, then it has a tremendous impact. So that's what Arjuna is asking here. He wants to see the universal form. But Krishna will say, oh, you don't have the eyes to see, so I have to give you the special spiritual eyes to see. So that's also reflected in this prayer that we sing before we do the Om Jnana Timirandasya. I was blind, ajnana, in blindness of darkness. Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya. Now, really we say the torchlight of knowledge. That's what, you know, it says. But really what it says is there's a certain instrument that you can, you know, put on medicine for the eye. And that's what the Shalakya is. And Jnananjana, the anjana, the salve of knowledge, is applied by the spiritual master, and opening your eyes and you're becoming enlightened. That's what it means, you know. So anyway, that is what's going on here, and Krishna is saying, Pashyaya, you will be able to see whatever you wish to see. Behold at once. So he's going to give him the eyes, but he says not to. So the next verse says, but you can't use your regular eyes. I have to give you the special eyes. You see, Nato mam shakshase drashtum. Anena anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshu pashyame yogamaisharam. Now those who are a little astute, you may remember from chapter 9, at the beginning of the chapter 9, he uses the same phrase, just see the opulence of my yoga power. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Purport. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with the spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind but his vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. And I think it's here or in a future purport, probably say why he wanted to see it. It wasn't for himself. Devotees who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. Hare Krishna. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami recites this verse, and this is one of Prabhupada's favorites. He would often recite it. Let's see if you can repeat after me. Ittam satam brahma sukhanu bhutya dasyam gatanam padadaivatena maya shitanam nadadarakena sakam vijahru kritapunya punjaha. Here is the Supreme Person who is considered the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now these boys, who have performed many, many pious activities in their past lives, are playing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 12, 11. Krita punya punja, meaning like heaps of pious activities, but not mundane pious activities, devotional activities. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing the Vishwarup, the universal form, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statements so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of the Parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually revealed himself as the Supreme. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal form because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. So, why did he ask it? Because in the future, if someone claims to be God, then they can say, oh, I'm impressed, but only if you can show me a universal form, and nobody can do it. So that's Arjuna. Yeah. Okay. So this Ittam Satam Brahma Sukhana Bhutya, Prabhupada really liked that verse, and he would often chant it. Okay. All right, text 9. Sanjaya Vacha Eva Mukva Tato Rajan Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Darshiyam Asapartaya and Padamam Rupamaishwaram. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Aneka Bhakta Nayanam Aneka Buddha Darshanam Aneka Divya Bhadanam Divya Aneko Jitayudam Divya Malyam Bhadadadam Divya Gandhanulepanam Sarvashcharmayam Devam Anantam Vishvatomukam. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Purport. In these two verses, the repeated use of the word many, aneka, indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs, and other manifestations Arjuna was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. So as we proceed with this description, which is very awe-inspiring, Prabhupada already made the point in the previous purport that following the Gaudiya line, we're not so eager to see this universal form, because you can easily see how it could ruin your intimate feelings of Krishna, right? And in fact, Arjuna eventually says, "Please, enough, please let me see your original form." He was scared. He was frightened. But it's in many cases, it's an important part. It's a very important part of the Bhagavad Gita, and famously, in this chapter, we'll come across that verse one more time where Krishna says, "I am time." I think he's already said it twice, "I am time." Kala Kaliyatamaham. He said that I am of regulators. I am time. And then in this chapter, he'll say, "Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravindo." I am time, and I've come to destroy everything. That's the thing. So that verse was chanted by Robert Oppenheimer when he saw the first atom bomb explode, famously. I don't know if it was in the movie. I didn't see the movie. But I knew about that. And in fact, I remember seeing a picture of him. Maybe it was from sometime in Life magazine or something. He said this. But showed his bedstead, and on his bed he had a little, murti of Krishna. And he was known for studying the Bhagavad Gita. And that verse, Kalos. And what I read is that they weren't so sure that it wasn't going to blow up the whole universe, or at least the whole earth. It was a possibility, but hey, we needed a bomb, Great, thanks a lot. So it didn't, obviously, but it was pretty amazing, pretty, frightening and awe-inspiring. And he thought that, Kalos, which means I am time, I'm the destroyer of the universe, I've come to destroy everybody. It appears later in this. And after that, Arjuna is trembling, and eventually he asks, "Let me see the original form again, please," and so he's relieved. But here, this aneka, aneka means not one, which means various, just completely decorated and, with all kinds of wonderful ornaments and everything else, weapons and everything. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugabaruttita Yari Bha Sadrishi Sasyad Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Purport. What Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjaya is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjaya nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyas, could see whatever happened. Thus he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomenon, that is, thousands of suns. Tatraikastam jagat kritsnam pravibhaktam anekada aparshyad deva devasya sharire Pāṇḍavas tada. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Purport. The word tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from the Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all these, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna. All right. Tataksa vishmayavishto Rishtaroma Dhananjayaha Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kutanjali Labhashata. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Now just one note. We almost always have this phrase, bodily hairs. Because as soon as it says his hair is standing on end, boom, you get the Bride of Frankenstein. Have you ever seen that? But that's not what happened. His hair was there, but his bodily hair was standing up. He was getting, goosebumps. That's what it means. Rishta Roma. Purport. Once the divine vision is revealed, the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna changes immediately. Before, Krishna and Arjuna had a relationship based on friendship. But here, after the revelation, Arjuna is offering obeisances with great respect, and with folded hands he is praying to Krishna. He is praising the universal form. Thus Arjuna's relationship becomes one of wonder rather than friendship. Great devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationships. In the scriptures, there are 12 basic kinds of relationships mentioned, and all of them are present in Krishna. It is said that he is the ocean of all the relationships exchanged between two living entities, between the gods, or between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Here, Arjuna was inspired by the relationship of wonder, and in that wonder, although he was by nature very sober, calm and quiet, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up, and he began to offer his obeisances unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. He was not, of course, afraid, yet. He was affected by the wonders of the Supreme Lord. The immediate context is wonder. His natural loving friendship was overwhelmed by wonder, and thus he reacted in this way. So this is, there's 5 basic rasas, Shanta ras, Dasya ras, Sakya ras, Vatsalya ras, and Madhurya ras. And each one encompasses the previous. You know how that works? If you read the 15th chapter of Madhya Lila, the teachings to Rupa Goswami, it gets into these complications of the rasa, these details. So the first one is not really, you're not really entering into bhakti yet. Just the Shanta ras, it means more or less like a meditative thing. The qualities of Shanta ras is that you're always thinking of Krishna, you have no attraction for material sense gratification, and you're satisfied just by meditating on Krishna, by thinking of him. And you might be like the grass. You don't have any active service, but when Krishna walks on you, then you get to kind of do something. That's the kind of service. So it's not an active service like the friends have, or Krishna has. And in the friendship rasa, that's the dasya ras, in the friendship rasa, you'll have younger friends who are more like servants, and you'll have those who are like vayasyas, equal to Krishna. And then you'll have older ones who are like in Balaram, who are a little protective of Krishna, because they're moving toward the paternal or parental ras, Vatsalya. So the friends are, of course, great servants of Krishna, even more so than those who are just humble servants, because they're a greater service to Krishna is pleasing him more by these intimate activities of friendship, right? But then you have the Vatsalya ras or parental ras, and they're great servants. I mean, who serves the young baby and child more than the mother? Every want of the child, the mother. So they're great servants, but they also have the friends, but they're very protective. That's the thing. They're very protective of it. So Krishna had to hide his opulence, his strength, and just try to be, act like a helpless child, to evoke that mood, because he's pretty naughty. The word imp is perfect. If you read the word imp, is a mischievous child, you imp, as I put that in my poem. And then finally you have the gopis, the conjugal rasa, and they comprise all of that. They're the servants, the friends, they maintain him, they provide anything for him, but they have that special, intimate, relation. So that's what Gaudiya Vaishnava is all about. We're not really interested in seeing this universal form. But here there's a certain need for it, and that need is to make sure that no one can pretend to be God, And it evokes these wonderful prayers from Arjuna, which we'll start reading here. Okay. Arjuna Vacha. Pashyami devang sabadeva dehe. Sarvang tata bhuta vishesha sanghan. Brahmanamisham kamalasanastam. Rishings to sarvan, uragangs to divyan. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents." Purport. Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjuna can see from the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on a lotus flower planet where Brahma, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So he's going to go on with his description and awe and reverence. Aneka bahu dadabhaktra netram pashyami tvam sarvato nanta rupam Nantang namadyang napunastavadim Pashyami vishveshada vishvarupa. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unlimited. Thus, through him, everything could be seen. Kaditinam gadinam chakvinancha Tejo rashim sarvato deeptimantam Pashyami tvam durniriksham samantad Deeptana larka dutamaprameyam. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Tvamaksharam padamam veditavyam Tvamasya vishvasya padam nidhanam Tvamamyayak shasvata dharma gopta Sanatanastvam purusho mato me. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are the inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. So you can see that our commentators, especially Baladev Vidyabhushan, is not given many commentators. Otherwise we have longer purports here, but we have no purport for some of these verses here, and short ones. Anadimadyantamanantaviryam Anantabahum Shasisurya Netram Pashyami Tvam Diptihutasha Vaktram Swatejata Vishramidam Tapantam. You are without origin, middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Purport. There is no limit to the extent of the six opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places there is repetition, but according to the scriptures, repetition of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is said that at a time of bewilderment or wonder or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over. That is not a flaw. We're really into repetition. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hardly a flaw. Dhyava pratimhyor idamantaranghi vyaptam tvayaikena dashascha sarvaha Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam lokatriyamphya vyatitam mahatman. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space in between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Purport. Yav apativyo, the space between heaven and earth, and lokatrayam, the three worlds, are significant words in this verse, because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. Amihi tvam surasangha vishanti Kechin bhita pranjalayo grananti Swasti tyuktva maharshi siddha sangha Stuvanti tvam stutibhi pushkalabhi. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying, "All peace," are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. Purport. The demigods in all the planetary systems feared the terrific manifestations of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection. Rudraditya vasabo ye cha sadhya Vishveshvinau marutas choshma pascha Gandhava yaksha surasiddha sangha Bhikshante tvam vismitaschayava sarve. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvedevas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Rupam mahate bahovaktra netram Mahabaho bahubahu rupadam Bahudadam bahudangstrakaralam Drishtva loka prabhyatitastavaham Tataham, sorry. Almighty Armed One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth, and as they are disturbed, so am I. Nabakspisham deeptamaneka varnam Vyatananam deepta vishala netram Drishtva hi tvam pravyatitantar atma. Pravyatitantar atma. Duting na vindami shamam cha Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, as I see you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Dangstra karana nichate mukhani. Dristvaiva kalan alasan nibhani. Disho najane nalabecha sharma. Prasida devesha jagan nibasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing, death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. Amichatvam dhritarashtrasya putra. Sarve sahaibhava nipala sangai. Bhishmo drona sutaputras tathasau. Sahasmadhyayar apihoda mukyai. Bhaktani te tvaramana bishanti. Dangstra kalana nibayana kani. Kechad vilagna dasanantareshu. Sandrishyante churnitayar uttamangai. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. Whoa. Purport. In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers, and Arjuna's own soldiers, are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjuna would emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. Yata nadinam bahavom bhavegah samudrameva bhimukha dravanti tatatavami nadaloka vira pishanti bhaktran yabhibijvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter into your blazing mouths. Yata pradiptam jvalanam patanga pishanti nashaya samriddha vegaha tataiva nashaya vishanti lokas tabapi bhaktani samriddha vegaha. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in the blazing fire. Leli hase gusamana samantal lokan samagran vadanayv valadbhi tejo bid apurya jagat samagram Vasastavogra pratapanti Vishnu. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. Akyahime ko bhavanugra rupo. Namostate deva vada prasida. Vigyatamichami bhavantamadhyam nahi prajanami tava pravittim. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. So here's the famous verse now. Okay, I don't know if we may have to read it again tomorrow. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Galosmi Loka Chayakrit Pravidho Lokan Samahar Tumitiha Pravittaha Rite Pitvam Nabhavishyanti Sarve Ye Bastita Prat Anikeshu Yodhaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pāṇḍavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Purport. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmins, as stated in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.25. Yasya brahma cha chatram cha ube bhavata odanaha mrityu yasyo paseji sechanam ka ita veda yatra saha. Eventually all the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring time. Except for a few Pāṇḍavas, everyone who is present on the battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. All right. So I think we'll leave it at that, because we don't have really time to do justice to the next purport. And I'm just looking ahead here, when Arjuna offers his prayers, because there's one verse, this one, verse 38, was one of the first verses I ever memorized. Tvamadideva purushak puranas tvamasya vishwasya padam nidanam vetasi bejam padam chadama tvayatatam vishwamananta rupa. I remember walking back from the subway to Brooklyn after I had been in Manhattan practicing chanting this verse. Tvamadideva purushak. So we're coming up on that. All right, we have a minute for a poem. Let's have a little relief from all this. Whoa, this is something sweet. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Smita Duchi Makardandi. This is the mood of our acharyas. Smita Ruchi Makardandasyan Nivaktrara Vindam. Tavapada Padahang San Vishragandham Mukunda. Vidachita Pashapali Neta Sarangarangam Mamadadi Yatadage Sangamangi Karotu. From the lotus of your face, dear Lord, trickles forth the luscious beauty of the luscious beauty? I forget. The luscious beauty of the nectar of your smile. Your exalted devotees, great swans, taste the fragrance of that lotus, which says there their hearts beguile. Your beloved gopis' eyes, mad bees, taste the most exquisite pleasure in that lotus of your face. O my dear Mukunda Dev, I pray, may the lake of my poor heart be by that lotus ever graced. That's the mood of the... Whew, what a relief in the universal form. Okay, so we'll pick it up tomorrow again and proceed. Let's see, which verse did I read? The last one. Which one? 32. So we're on 33. Thank you. Mahima.
Well, technically you did read 38.
Yeah, but that was the special. All right, so we'll pick it up on... We read 33, you say? Okay, so we'll pick it up on 33 tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Actually, it's a very interesting chapter because after all of this, the last verse, Prabhupada says in the purport, this verse summarizes the meaning of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Yep, mat karma krin, mat padamo, bad bhakta sangamarjita. It's very interesting.